everyone. This is Francine Crawford. This is my show, Autumn is Here. I am your host. I would like to talk to you today about scams against older adults. We have so many different scams that have come into play, and they've been happening for a long time, but I don't think we realize how widespread they are. According to the FBI, in 2021, there's been 92,000 victims of elderly crime. 92,000, which equates to $1.7 billion of losses for elderly people. So it's very important, and it's widespread, especially because times are changing. We have the electronic age, and people prey on older people. And sometimes we, as their family, have to look out for it to make sure that they're not being taken advantage of. So we just want to make sure that everybody knows some of the things to look for, some of the scams out there. I know that we don't want to think that people are doing this, but people are doing this. People are doing this for gain and ill will against older people. And sometimes, it's not necessarily something that is very clear and open, and you'll recognize it. So we just wanted to give you some information on that, so you'll understand some of the crimes that people are preying on older people. Some of the common crimes are government impersonation. Now, this is where somebody calls you and they say, okay, they're from the government, and your taxes weren't paid, or your Social Security is going to get cut off, or your Medicaid is going to get cut off. And this is where they scare older people, and they say these things that are going to make them nervous and make them do whatever the next step is. And they'll say, well, the next step is that you have to either you have to pay this amount of money, give it to us in credit cards, or they'll say, you'll have to go to a store and get gift cards, and you have to pay your bill right away. Or they'll say there's a penalty that has to be paid right away, a fine or a tax. And if you give me your information, we'll run it, and we'll have your information, and then we'll be able to pay your debt. Never give information like that over the phone. The government is not going to call you like that. You will definitely get letters and anything like that from the tax department and things like that. So don't do that. But they also will have like a number that looks like it's from, say, a number in Washington. So you think it's legit because it's coming from that area code, and you think it's legit. Sometimes we don't keep up on our records and things like that, and they can confuse us that we didn't pay this and we didn't pay that, even if we knew that we pay it. So that's one of the things that they do, especially with older people with Medicaid and Medicare. You don't want that. You don't want your Medicare to be cut off. And that makes them panic. And when it makes them panic, then they go into, okay, I have to fix this. Also, when they do certain calls, certain financial crimes, like with robocall scams. Now, the robocall scams is scams where electronically they will call you, and they will say something to the effect that, okay, well, we need your information we're looking up something on your house or something like that. Your house, you haven't paid your mortgage, you haven't did this or that, and they will do a robocall that will ask for information. Do not give information. If you give your information out to people, it opens up a can of worms, especially electronically. They can get into so many different things electronically now. They don't actually need your card for Social Security. Remember that. They don't actually need your ID card, your driver's license. They also have where they call you, the robocall, or they call you and they'll say, hello, is this so-and-so? And they want you to say yes, and then they hang up. Once they record you saying yes, once they hang up, they can take that and they can use that fraudulently to get unauthorized credit on your credit cards. They can use it for other kind of schemes and scams that once you say yes, they can use that recording. So when they can put in for credit for you or credit line for you, different things like that, especially if you own a house. They can do all different things like that. So really be careful of that when they call you. Never answer the phone and say yes. Say, excuse me, who is calling? Ask them who's calling. Because when you ask them who's calling and they can't give it to you, then they end up hanging up again anyway. Don't give it, especially if you don't know them. They don't only prey on people who are wealthy. Remember that they prey on people who have low income also, because if they get your name and your number, they can get credit in your name. They can get all these scams often target people so they can get credit, so they can get it in your name. And by the time you find out, your credit is messed up, you can't get credit, and you have all these bills. And unfortunately, many of these things you can't get recovery from. You can't get any recovery from. So they kind of, the government kind of looks at it as a low level crime. But these crimes are not low level because they can devastate an older person. They can get into your savings and take all your savings. They can get into your home and your home equity and use up all your money. They can do different things that can devastate you, especially at an older age when you saved all your money and that's all you have. You don't work, so you don't have income. What you have is what you have. You're on a fixed income. They can do all these damaging things to you. So it really should take higher priority. It really should, but it doesn't. People get caught up in all these different scams, and you have to be careful because they're thinking ahead of time. They're thinking ahead of time, especially with this computer age now. They do all kinds of different things as far as computer scam. There's a lot on the rise. Is technology scams are on the rise. They call to fix your computer. A black screen comes up, and then something comes up saying that, oh, you have to get this warranty, or you have to get this plan to fix your computer, or you have to get this virus thing to save your computer. And of course, someone older may panic and they don't want to lose all their information. They may panic and they don't really know all, you could be, some people are tech savvy, but some people know enough to work around it. But when they know that they don't want anything to go wrong with it because they have all the information in there. So then they panic, and the company will ask for them their credit card or things like that, or give them amount to pay, and they'll pay it, and then they've lost that money because that was a scam. They have also other electronic scams that come up where if it's not a black screen, it's pop-ups. Please teach your parents about pop-ups. The pop-ups come up and they sound attractive. They sound like something you need. They sound like something you want. Things like that. Don't order anything through there. They'll get your number, things like that. You never know if you don't recognize it, if you don't know, and even if it's something that you were thinking about. How all the time you think about something, you start thinking about something that you like. You think about you want to buy a new phone, and all of a sudden all these ads come up for a new phone and things like that. Be careful when it comes up and pop up. Be careful when emails come up and say it's an email. It says, oh, this is an email. Say you have a bank, and your bank is TD Bank, and it says this is from TD Bank. And if you know the email, and teach your adult relatives, if you're looking at the email and the extension on the email is like, it may say TD Bank, and then it says dot XYZ or dot a name, Cecil, whatever. It has a lot of things that are foreign. That is not a correct email. It is not a correct email. It will have a email that has something from the bank, at tdbank.com, something like that. Those are not valid emails. And once you do that, sometimes it crashes your system, and then they lose all the information. Or sometimes it's something that people use to steal money from people. They have so many different scams out there. It was interesting. They had about 8,000 complaints in 2020, and things have gone up tremendously. They have also sweepstakes. I know that we all want to win. We want to play lotto. We want to win. And we know that there's some advertisement that says that everybody wants to win that sweepstakes, that house, that large amount of money. And those things sometimes can be scams. Not the legitimate ones, but I'm just saying that people use that and say they're from that company and they're not. Be wary of sweepstakes scams, lottery scams, saying that you won the lotto, and then they'll tell you to go, you have to get these gift cards, and you get these gift cards. See, what happens is if they tell you to go to the store to get gift cards, they give you a specific gift card. And don't ask me how I know, because they try to do it to me. They give you a specific gift card. You go to the store, you go get this gift card. Once you get a gift card, you're purchasing it, and if you call them back, or they call you back, and they get the number and they get the information, they're using your money. Your money is gone. So, and that is not traceable. You cannot get that back. You cannot get that back. So be careful. A lot of older adults fall for that. They know that you want to win. So be very, 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 very careful of things like that. Also, there is a scam called the grandparent scam. Now, the grandparent scam is just really awful, because it's like they tug at your heart. They call you and they'll say, "Oh, hi, grandma, you know who this is?" And grandma starts saying names. And when grandma says a name, they'll say, "Yeah, it's me." And they'll say, "I'm sorry." They say, "Hey, how you doing? But, I really need some emergency money. I'm getting kicked out of my apartment, or I need some emergency money. My car broke down, or whatever. Can you send me some money, whatever?" And they actually do this. This is actually a scam. People prey on people doing this. And they actually get money that way, lots of money this way. I mean, people actually fall for this. Please tell your older adults that if they don't recognize the name or the number, or not the number, but if they don't recognize the person, and don't give a name, tell them to tell you who it is, first of all. Second of all, hang up, call, the number of your grandchild, call them and ask them, did they just call you? Do not give out any information. I mean, this is really a sad way to prey on older people. I mean, it's really terrible that people would stoop to this low. And also, they do scams where they say, "Oh, okay, we're the police department, and we have your grandchild, and we're going to arrest them, and they need this bail money, and blah blah blah, and we're going to do that." They do tactics like that. They scare you. They scare older people into giving them their money. So these scams they work, because if they didn't work, they wouldn't do it. And like we say, people are living older, but as you live older, you may not be as swift as you were before as figuring out these things. You may be kind and thinking that no one would ever do something like this. So please tell your older adults. They have something called a romance scam. Now, this is kind of the new age that we are in, with dating and online, and everybody wants to date. Young, old, everybody wants to date. There's nothing wrong with dating. It's just that when you're online, is very hard to tell who the person really is. And people make up their profiles, they make up their names, they make up all kinds of situations and circumstances. And if you're older sometimes, or your parent or your grandparent, they may fall for this, because they'll say everything they want to hear. And then once they pull them in, they'll say, but if they're out of the country, I need money to come into the country or to get my visa. They'll say they love them. They'll just, and romance scams go on for a long period of time. So if you see a change in your adult, parent, now we know that, when you get into romance, you get happy and you see some different changes. If you see a change in them and you see, just ask them questions. Who are you talking to? And they might tell you they're dating somebody or they're talking to somebody. Ask them how they met this person. Ask them to meet this person. Ask to talk to this person. I know in many situations that this happened, and you have to be proactive in this, because people will try to make you feel good, and so you can open up your purse. And it happens to men and it happens to women. So, and please, when they're older, we have to be realistic. When they're older, sometimes they're lonely, and they enjoy the conversation, and people pray on them, and they get all this money to use, and they keep coming. That's why I said this is a long-term thing. If you give them something for their visa or something for a trip, or I'm in some financial problems, can you help me? They keep going until you don't anymore. People have lost so much money on this. We may think it's not real, but it is real. It's happening across the whole nation. People have lost so much money on this. So please, and it's dangerous, because you just never know who these people are and how far they'll go. And if you stop giving them money, they may get upset. So if you find yourself in a situation and maybe you didn't realize it at first, and then you realize it later, to call your children, call your grandchildren, call your children, let them know what's going on, and let them get involved so they can stop this. Even if you lost some money and you realize, wait, this person is not on the up and up, please call them and let them know that you're not so sure about what's happened. I know it's embarrassing sometimes to adults, so they may not say anything, but they may lose so much money. So I'm imploring you to please call someone and let them know that you feel a little uncomfortable. This person has gotten money and they're still asking for money. And they're making promises. They will make promises that they will do everything. They will marry you. They will take care of you. They will do everything. They'll make promises and do everything until they get everything out of you. So please be very, 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 very careful with this. Please be proactive in what you do online. Anything that you do online. Do not give out your personal information. If you do not know the person or the agency or whatever. They have insurance scams that they use, not only private insurance, but Medicare insurance and things like that. Yes, they will do that and scare you into giving them money for that. The internet and the emails frauds. Sending people emails and internets. If you send me this, I'll send you that. If you you won this thing, but you have to pay the processing fees. So you send money to them to pay the processing fees. You won $1,000, but you have to send $200 for the processing fees, and then we'll give you the $1,000. And you send the $200, and it's not, you don't get anything. They do this in emails. They do this on the internet. They do this in, all the time. And even in calling you, they call you and say, wow, you're the new winner. And don't send processing fees. If you are the winner of something, they're going to give you something. You don't have to give them anything if you're a real winner. So please remember that. All the victims of these crimes, unfortunately, there's some devastating losses. Some people have lost their homes. Some people have lost all their savings. Some people have lost their dignity. Some people have been hurt to their core with things like this. And we just want people to be aware that these things do happen. Never answer your phone yes. Never give out any information or names on your grandchildren. Don't fall for anything. If you on your computer, if it says, oh, you have to fix it now, or you whatever, ask someone. If you don't know, do not do it. Ask someone. Don't fall for the government scams, for people calling from the government, even if it's a Washington number. Don't fall for the government scams. That the government always sends letters. They always send letters, and they know you. If you're paying your taxes, they know your address. So if you haven't gotten anything, it's more likely it's not from the government. So we just want you to be aware of some of these things. According to FBI, it is on a rise. It is 74% more than it was in 2020. That's a lot. That's a lot. And people have lost so much money in all these scams. In internet crime scams alone, there was 13,000 complaints on internet scams alone. And there is that equals up to $238 million that were lost, that older people have lost that money. it's sad to be able to, have money and then lose it all at the end of your life, and you're not making any money. So it's not only that it's devastating to them. They lose what they've earned and what they've worked hard for. They can lose their house and their material things, but you can also lose your inheritance. So it behooves you to get involved, because you can lose your inheritance just because of the scam. People are doing it all the time. People are trying to get people houses all the time for a low amount. That happens all the time. So please be aware of these things. Please be proactive. Please check online. Just second guess something. You know that you can look up anything online, and if it's something that you're not sure of, look it up online, and just put it in the way you look at a romantic scam or something like that, or you're dating online, what to be aware of. They'll give you the things to be aware of, and you'll go, oh, that's exactly what just happened to me. I'm not going to fall for that. Okay, so make sure that you know that, and share it. Share the information. Share the information with people in your church. Share the information with your neighborhood. Share the information with your family. It's very disheartening that people will wait till people get older and take advantage of them. But this is the world we live in, and it's unfortunate. And the way we're getting more and more with technology and more advanced, there are more and more scams and things to defraud people. People are greedy, and they're figuring out so many different ways. And some ways are a little more sophisticated, in investments and things like that. There are some ways that you want you to invest in something, and it's a little more sophisticated. So please, please, please be very careful with who you give information to, very careful with who you give any kind of information or ID or anything like that to, and talk to people, ask people first. Please, we don't want you to lose your savings. We don't want you to lose your home. We don't want you to lose anything. That's my show for today. Please be aware and just be able to second guess people. It's okay. Today, you got to second guess people. Today, you got to second. I know that we're trying to be trusting. We want to be trusting to everybody, but honestly, you kind of have to second guess everything right now. That's just the world we live in. I want you to be safe. I want you to be well. And I want you to have a healthy, full quality life as you grow older. Okay. Thank you.